Wow. Sometimes you've got to do it the hard way.
Not an easy start to the race, but we turn it around at the end.
It's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc has the lead from Verstappen. George Russell gets tagged, but manages to stay on the track. And into the gravel goes Max Verstappen. At turn 4, now passed by Russell and his teammate Perez.
Max, info. DRS flap did not open last lap. Keep trying.
That's a Ferrari going very slowly.
That's Charles Leclerc.
Lost power.
And he is out of the race. George Russell crosses the line. Max Verstappen's DRS is working. This is now a battle for the lead. Now Sergio Perez manages to clear that Mercedes and make his way into the lead of this race.
Okay, you want a different strategy to Max. If he's quicker, we let him through.
That's very unfair, but okay.
It has been very hot in the cockpit at times. The celebrations, though, will very much be welcomed by Max Verstappen and Red Bull as Verstappen wins the Spanish Grand Prix.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was a Spanish Grand Prix, wasn't it?
A very hot one, my goodness.
A hot and exciting one. There's a lot to break down. Welcome to F1 Nation, everybody, with me, Tom Clarkson, Natalie Pinkham, and I'm really delighted to say that joining us this week, we also have, now how to introduce this man? Alex Wurz, I think, three-time finisher on the podium in Formula One, GPDA chairman. Alex, brilliant race.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, thanks for having me. Very excited, Tom and Natalie, to be with you guys and Damon coming. So I hope we can run a race here in Barcelona, which unfolded significantly better and much more interesting than we might have anticipated or we had in previous years. I mean, there's really a lot of things to discuss in here. Some of the nitty-gritty details which give us indications on performance, on upgrades of the cars, on tire management. I mean, I don't know where to start, and I hope you have a long time where we will have the listeners here with us.
Well, I hope you've got some kind of cover for your head, because we're about to get sprayed with a load of Red Bull, because we're in the Red Bull hospitality unit. They're all lining up behind us for the team photo, and they're shaking those cans pretty vigorously. And but there's about to be an explosion of a high energy drink.
There is. We're quite good at getting ourselves in these post-race celebrations. Pinks, what did you call it a minute ago?
It's the John Terry meme, isn't it? John Terry famously wriggled his way into team photos that he perhaps didn't deserve to be in, and I feel like we're doing the same.
Now, well, look, while we're waiting for this team photo to take place, Alex, just tell us, was the Red Bull the fastest car today?
They are deserved winners, whilst of course we had Charles Leclerc in a Ferrari in a perfect start, very aggressive, he moved over, but fair, you know, I mean, it's really ramping up to be an exciting fight between those teams and especially the two main rivals. He then had the race under control, but the speed and the tire consistency of Red Bull was pretty impressive, and without the mishap on the DRS system, I think they would have gone for a pass and probably had a stronger race pace, because they really ironed out the last sector instability with tire overheating, and that was a strong performance of the Red Bull team.
I have to say though, I do feel for Charles Leclerc, because he's been strong all weekend. He was very calm, I have to say, in the pen afterwards. Because
what did he say to you?
Well, I think the last thing you feel like in that moment is someone shoving a mic into your face and asking you about your frustrations of the DNF.
But you're good at this.
Well,
you're good at this, and it's your job.
I don't know about that, but
what did you say? What was your first question to him?
You know, I just felt for him, because, you know, he's been incredibly strong all weekend, but straight away he was looking for the positives. He said, yeah, of course, I've surrendered the lead in the championship. It's been a really tough day for the team, obviously with Sainz is off as well, with a gust of wind. But he was able to say, look, we've got so many positives to take in terms of performance of this car. You know, we're really in this fight, the upgrades have worked really well, and, you know, the fight is on.
Alex, I thought their tyre management, the tyre deg, they've clearly taken a step forward with that. They were the only team to run high fuel in the final practice session. If you could drive one of these two cars, we actually normally ask Damon this question, don't we? But would you like to be driving the Ferrari right now or the Red Bull?
Whoever pays better.
That is a good answer.
Well, who does pay better?
Well,
you've negotiated with both over the years, right?
No, so I don't know. It doesn't matter about the money. I think both cars seem to be very well balanced. And it's beautiful to see that the drivers, like the main protagonists, of course, at the moment, Charles and Max, but they take these machines to the limit. They are on the entry. They can kind of start to pre-rotate the cars, and then it works out perfectly to the apex. And it's beautiful to watch, you know. I mean, there's this real good machinery. But equally, we have to say, is these new rules, they plan out to be pretty exciting, because Barcelona is notorious for difficult races, for not following. And we had Max without DRS sometimes challenging a super strong George Russell, or of course also...
That was a great fight, wasn't
amazing.
it?
What's Max Verstappen going to do here? DRS activated, extra pace, accelerating into turn 1. Max Verstappen, is he past George Russell? George Russell squeezes through on the inside. Verstappen tries to fight him back. Now into turn 3. Russell ahead by half a car length. Going round the outside of turn 3. Verstappen leaves the track. Russell still ahead on the run down into turn 4. We've not seen too much between these two in terms of attack and defence before, but I am one that wants to see much, much more.
I love this race, because so much little technical details to it, which I'm sure we touch later. Overall, unfortunate, Natalie, as you say, really feel sorry for Charles. He's such a good boy, such a team leader now, and he took it on the chin, but with a little smile. I guarantee you tomorrow he'll be frustrated. But Red Bull took it home, and we have the situation where reliability is actually playing maybe the biggest part, other than the individual performance.
Why are these cars proving more unreliable this year?
So I think one part is that they have to do weight saving, because all the cars are heavy. So what do? You are minimizing thicknesses, you're minimizing dimensions, you're taking maybe a little bit softer materials. So kind of guess that the DRS issue of Red Bull is probably linked to just saving weight high up and on the rear end. But we have to ask the guys in Red Bull. And then let's not forget, the rules are new. Whilst F1 is super cool and very clever in simulating and testing and analyzing, well, thinking ahead, but now we can analyze that actually there is still room for improvement with these new rules. They are surprised by some issues.
Can I just pick him up on something he said a minute ago, Pinks? Ouch, Vertzi. You said Charles Leclerc is the team leader at Ferrari. And I think all of those Spanish fans that we can see in the grandstands will be going, oh no, is that really the case?
Well, the points say it, and I'm a big fan of Carlos Sainz. I go training with him when we meet in the summer, every summer in Mallorca. Good lad, you can never underestimate him. He will bounce back, but a bit unlucky from the beginning on.
Now, Christian gave Checo a big hug, and rightly so. I mean, they need to be quite grateful to him for playing the ultimate team player today. I wonder, though, whether it's a bit early in the season for team orders. I wonder if they should have let them race. I put that question to Checo, and he said, well, actually, it was a bit more than that, because we were on different strategies, but you could sense that frustration, and he was keen to say, we need to talk.
Well done, Checo. Thank you for that drive today. It was a very, very strong drive again from you, so thank you for playing the team game as well. Well done.
Yep, no worries. We'll speak later, mate.
Well, he's fully right to talk. I mean, he's a mega team player. To an extent that at some points I thought he's actually too easy accepting some of the orders, because you need to be a bit edgy. You need to put your elbows out. He proved for the team. He was fighting for the World Championship in Abu Dhabi for Max Mega. Today I felt it was right to raise the voice. He executed as the team asked him, but man, he came out with new tires. And he had to hold back when actually the race was critical for him to use the new tire, the new rubber, for fast lap times. And at this point he had to stay back. So this is when you get cranky as a driver, and I've been in this situation, and it's not cool. But give him credit, he executed. But rightly, he asks for his right as well, you know, and it's good to see in the end of the day. Nevertheless, he had to accept the second position here behind Max.
Now, Christian Horner called it a race of two halves for Max. I mean, it was kind of crazy over team radio. He was getting seriously frustrated, wasn't he, with the DRS issue that he was having to manage, and then that big gust of wind catching him out at turn 4 as well. And then in contrast, right at the end, just the calm demeanour that he's just taken a dominant victory, and thanking his teammate because he knows he played a significant part in it.
Yeah, very good job also for the team. Really good result. And also thank you to Checo. He's a great teammate.
Well done, mate. Very sorry about that DRS today. I know we made life a bit difficult for you, but you had great pace and great recovery after that moment at turn 4. So great 1-2 for the team.
Made it a bit more interesting, at least.
He said after Miami, look, it's great, but we've got to raise our game and stop having all these little issues, and it's all kicking off now. Okay, I saw Alex just dodging a little bit of Red Bull that was flying into the energy station just then. We're going to get a very loud cheer just now.
But this is a big weekend for them, and this is a really big moment in terms of the championship and the constructors as well as the... Okay, it made me jump. I even knew it was coming.
Hey, Pinks, it's huge. Max Verstappen now leading the World Championship, and they're
leading the constructors.
Here we go. We're going to get... Oh, here we go. They're all running back in. It's all going pear-shaped here. There is sticky Red Bull everywhere, and of course, in come the pit boards that have got the drivers' positions on them. Everyone is covered. Max just strolling back in. He's just wiping some of that Red Bull off his shoulder. But I felt after the race, although he was very frustrated, of course, with the technical issues and all that kind of thing, he calmed it all down straight after the race in the press conference, and it was all sweetness and light. And we're going to grab Christian Horner, and let's just Adrian Newey first of all.
I'm going to sub in for Adrian Newey because I've got a flight to catch, and anyway, he's a much better person
Adrian
to
always
talk
has
to than me.
a flight to catch when we grab him after the race
I've
as well.
I've actually got the debrief now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no point rushing out of here. You're not going anywhere with all the fans and the traffic,
yes,
Adrian.
there is that.
Adrian, look, first of all, look, many congratulations from all of us. Another 1-2 for the team. How good was your car today?
How good was it? Difficult to know because obviously we had a problem with the DRS with Max, and then he had his little mistake in turn 4 when the gust of wind, which I think was catching quite a few people out in turn 4. The wind was very gusty, as I say, and the cars are so wind sensitive. It's you get a tailwind and they're driving on edge. Obviously, it just gives them that little push on and they're in the dirt. So that obviously is a setback. And Deg seemed okay to that point. Charles then had his problem. So I think it was always going to be a race where tyre deg was going to be the deciding factor. But because it kind of all went a bit awry quite early on for Max with his turn 4 incident and then Charles with his problem, then we won't know.
Well, we won't know, so this is a very hypothetical question I'm going to ask you now, but had Leclerc kept going, had Max not had those issues, do you think we would have had a really tight fight in those closing laps between Leclerc and Verstappen?
I think there's a high chance it would have been, yes, absolutely. I mean, in whose favour, I've got absolutely no idea. As I say, that I'm pretty sure it would have been a kind of tyre deg battle and a battle of strategy. 3-stop in the end was clearly the way to go. We were debating that, of course, and I'm sure all the other teams were before the race. Is it 2-stop, is it 3-stop? So there'd have been strategy and tyre deg would have been the deciding factors.
And this DRS issue, is it specific to the wing that you were running here, or is there something a little bit more fundamental that you guys need to sort out?
The honest answer is we don't fully understand this at the moment. We obviously had the problem on Max's last run in Q3 yesterday. We went through the car. We couldn't find anything particularly wrong. We were worried there's a small crack in the rear wing flap, so we put a patch over that on both cars, but that was more precautionary. It was not believing that was going to make any difference. We will obviously now quarantine all the parts, take them all back and try to understand it.
Adrian, was the DRS system one of the parts you maybe touched as well from the weight-saving program?
No, we haven't. I mean, it was new for this year with the regulation change, of course, but it's been the same from the first test. We haven't made any changes to it. As you say, the difference we have got, of course, is the rear wing itself, which is the higher downforce, if you like, Monaco wing. Whether that's responsible or not, I wouldn't like to say at the moment.
Adrian, fantastic job. You're leading both World Championships at the minute. I mean, it's going as good as it can go with the niggles that you've had, so you must be very confident as we go forward for the rest of the season.
No, you can never be confident. I mean, it's, we're 6 races down out of, I think it's 22 races now, so it's a huge way to go. It's very tight. We've seen how quickly it can swing round. I mean, we had the same middle of last year with Silverstone and Hungary being a bit of a disaster for us, so it's way too early to be confident.
All right, well, Adrian, look, well done today. Huge congratulations from all of us. And you're not dashing for your flight, so enjoy the debrief, and we'll see you in a week's time in Monaco.
Thank you very much.
But see, that's interesting when you hear Adrian saying that the cars really are wind sensitive. These big heavy cars of 7, 9, 8 kilos, and a gust of wind can make that much difference.
Yeah, well, I felt it myself, and I remember actually working with Adrian at McLaren, and we had one car which was extremely wind sensitive, super fast, without the wind. And then the next year he came to me and says, "Hey Alex, you're the first one to test the new MP417." And I said, "So how much more downforce have we got?" He said, "No, we don't have more downforce." I said, "Yeah, but Adrian, it's a new car, it's supposed to have more downforce." He said, "No, straight line not, but in corners you will see it's much more stable." And I mean, he's such a genius, you know. And the car was sensational in wind, in crosswinds, in Silverstone, in those high wind gusts. It was still glued to the ground. So I expect him going back to just check it out about yaw sensitivity, crosswind, tailwinds, because that is quite a critical factor now with those cars.
Everyone says Adrian's a genius, and obviously the proof is in the pudding. He's won so many races, so many championships, but what is the standout quality when you work with him as closely as you did at McLaren?
That he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's
yeah.
an absolute good guy, and of course we as a F1 attracts geniuses. We have different styles actually to it, you know, so there is the idea that you put a team together where you have the collective brain power giving a super cool product. Adrian is much more driven as him giving first visions and then having his team, of course, behind in Red Bull. They're a sensational team as well. So the collective brain power is there equally strong as at Mercedes or now at Ferrari. But his vision of where he wants to go and accepting that until I am at my point of vision, I am accepting deficits, I am accepting reliability issues, and he just makes it stick.
Immerse yourself in the world of Formula One more than ever before with F1 Manager. F1 Manager 2022 is a new, fully licensed management game putting you in the role of team principal at your favourite F1 team, ready to take on all the challenges of the 2022 season and beyond. Giving you the most authentic F1 management experience, fully licensed and brought to you in broadcast quality presentation. Drive every decision as team principal. Choose how to develop your car as the season progresses, manage your staff and hone your race strategy for each weekend. Live the drama of Formula One on and off the track. Be prepared to react to dynamic events such as changing weather, evolving track conditions or race incidents. Vote on upcoming rule changes to swing things in your favour and come out on top. Launching on PC, PlayStation and Xbox, summer 2022. Visit f1manager.com to wishlist the game on your platform of choice and follow F1 Manager on Twitter to stay up to speed. So we've just come outside of the Red Bull Energy Station now, and the team principal, Christian Horner, is with us now. I get it. You either win or you retire.
It's not a good, it's not a good ratio, but great to get that third consecutive Grand Prix victory. After the first few laps, it didn't look like it was going to be possible. George obviously getting ahead whilst we had an off at turn 4, and Charles looked like he got the race under control at that point in time, but. With the DRS issue that we had with Max, we decided to convert to a more aggressive 3-stop strategy, and that really worked out, today. And unlucky for Charles and Ferrari with that retirement, but we know how that feels. So it was important for us then as a team to bank those points and maximise our score.
What about that battle then between Verstappen and Russell? Made good viewing.
Yeah.
What was it like? Was the old leg jiggling away?
It was a bit one-armed because. Max didn't have full use of a DRS, so George was getting his elbows out down at turn 1 on a few laps, but it was good racing, it was hard racing, and I think this generation is, the Max or Charles or George, Lando, they're really exciting races, and I think we've got many years of this to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good to hear. I fully agree with you. But talking about racing, could I touch the subject of Checo?
Yep.
And how do you feel about his race, especially at the point where you have to ask him to hold back?
That's always a bit tough, but he was on a 2-stop. Max, we converted to the 3. We spoke about it in a briefing earlier that we might have to switch cars around today because you don't want to lose time with either of their races. and we had temperatures that were beyond all the limits that we'd seen. Oil and water. We got a DRS that was working intermittently. It made no sense, particularly when Max was on a tyre that gave him up to a 2-second lap time advantage to even think about letting the drivers fight each other today. Of course, at the point in time when he's leading the Grand Prix, he doesn't see the overall picture, but he understood it very quickly. I think, especially when he needed to pit as well at the end of the race.
Christian, do you see this championship being, of course, about speed, but also survival of the fittest? We're seeing so many reliability issues this year.
Yeah, everybody's pushing the boundaries, and weight is crucial. So we're on the limit everywhere, and that's not just us. You saw Ferrari today. You saw, I think, Mercedes. They had some issues, as well at the end of the race there. So it's just everybody being on the limit, and if you're not on the limit, you're not trying.
On the limit is Formula One, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But we haven't seen the exact limits this weekend. So in qualifying, you had the DRS issue. You couldn't go again. In the races, we had, of course, the issue with Leclerc and his engine. So I'm just curious to feel, and now have a question to you, is who had really the upper hand on the single lap, but mainly more interested in the long run and tyre management?
I think we saw this weekend Ferrari had the advantage over a single lap, but I think our DEG was a little bit better in the race. If I look at Carlos's race, because we don't have the the ability to see what Charles could have done, but I think our degradation looks stronger, and so it's a shame we didn't get that race between the two guys today.
And how do you see that planning out now for Monaco, which is upcoming in a few days?
Totally different. Maybe some rain around, and
seriously?
Yeah, so from the early...
Sitting here in 36-degree heat, we're all burnt, and we're going to be raining in 5 days' time.
It will be, but that's Monaco. So, Monaco's a bit of a one-off. It's a bit of a lottery. It's a very unique track. So, but Charles is quick round there. Carlos is quick round there. Our drivers have a good track record round there. So, and the cars are very different this year. So it's going to be a big challenge.
Best of luck.
All the best.
Well done today. Thanks, Christian. Now, you may have gathered that Natalie is no longer with Alex and me. She's had to go and grab a plane. So you've got me and Alex just for a bit. But what did you make of some of the stuff Christian was saying there, Alex?
I mean, Christian is super eloquent. He knows what to say. In the end of the day, he is the team boss. He has to tell Checo, mate, you have to queue up. In this case, it was clear he had to serve the number 2 role, and he's playing that really well. I am very appreciative of Checo putting the elbows out.
Alex and I are now chasing Andrew Shovlin from Mercedes down the paddock. Look, first of all, where do we begin, Alex, with the Mercedes weekend?
Very simple, Shav. So does it need an angry Lewis Hamilton to get the lap times, which actually could have been Grand Prix winning stuff?
I mean, the car's certainly working a lot better here. And Lewis did look like he had good race pace, but it wasn't a race where you could drive it in an angry way. There was so much overheating. But for us, I mean, it was a mix of sort of misfortune for Lewis. I think he could have had a very good race had he been up the front. But overall, just encouraging with the progress, because we can do more of what we've done to hopefully improve it for the next few.
Look, how much of a breakthrough, Shov, have you made this weekend? Because, of course, George has been on the podium already this year in Australia. The gap to pole was about the same here as it was at the first race in Bahrain.
I think the way that gap evolved, though, we were close to Verstappen through the lap, and we overheated and lost a bit in the last couple of corners. But I think the reality is to take this car and turn it into something that can challenge for pole and wins is far more achievable than what we've had up until this stage.
So the mood in the camp?
Mood in the camp's good. More hard work to come, though.
Well done.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. God, it's exhausting seeing everyone just running for the airport, aren't they?
Yes, but this is back-to-back stuff, because it's not that they just want to get out of here, they want to get on with work. And it's crucial that you instantly go back, sit down, take the key information you get at this weekend, and then translate it already into Monaco. Whilst Christian just said to us Monaco is so different, it's still fundamentally laws of physics which govern our sport and the performance. And they are in the nitty-gritty details, and they have to just now download, debrief, and keep going. So that's why they're in a rush, not because they want to get away from you.
Well, it might be that as well, of course. But I really sense from Shov just then that, they have made a breakthrough. And look, now that we just stood in the paddock here grabbing everybody. Mario Isola, the boss at Pirelli, 3 stops. Is that what you were expecting going in?
No, honestly, we were expecting 2 stops, but then it was clear that starting on the soft, the strategy was going to be different. I believe that yesterday the idea of Charles to keep one set of soft new, and maybe in the press conference he said it could be an option for the start of the race. Basically everybody was starting on the soft. That was not predicted, but it was good to see that they've been able to manage the degradation, and we had a lot of action on a track where usually we don't have a lot of action. So
yeah, from my point of view is I think you have a really big part of a better racing show now, because whilst a driver still has to manage the tire, when it needed, they can push. And I think today I was equally surprised. Actually, I lost the bet, I lost the ice cream. I would have never thought them starting on a soft tire on the Barcelona racetrack with such high tire energies. But I wanted to say well done on the product, and you keep pushing for it.
Thanks a lot. No, we have also some ideas for next year, because obviously we never stop developing the tires, and now we are collecting data on these new cars that are different from the mule cars last year. And yeah, we continue in this direction.
Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Hey, tell me more about this ice cream that you bet. You're a big betting man, clearly.
No, I'm not. I'm Austrian. we don't bet normally, but so I bet for £2 ice cream, because I would have not imagined people starting on the soft tire compound here today, because I thought you will then have to bid very early with 100 kilograms of fuel. But actually everyone did, other than I think Alonso or someone on the grid.
Gosh, we've been told so many interesting things in the last 5 minutes, so it's quite difficult to know where to go with it. I was actually just talking about Andrew and what Andrew Shovlin said to us, wasn't I, when Mario Isola arrived. But I think Mercedes feel that this pace is genuine. Is that the message, your take-home message from this Grand Prix?
Yeah, on the Friday I went to the track to have a look. I called Toto from there. I said, hey guys, your car is just looking much more settled. The drivers now look like they have confidence of throwing the car and rotating the car in. And I didn't see that before. So he said, but we're still bouncing a little bit. I said, yeah, man, everyone is bouncing, but you have more confidence on the corner entry. And you know what is so fundamental about this? Is not that they've now been a bit closer. That's just a consequence, is that they can now believe in their process of identifying the issue and actually turning it around. Because imagine you're doing 3-4 attempts to turn a car around and you're not managing it. That throws you off your confidence. Then you start to question your ability, you start to question your process, you start to question your correlations. But actually this is very crucial for the team at the moment to have this little win, find this little extra bit of confidence that it works what they are thinking, what they are doing. It's absolute one of the key moments, and key moments for the team management.
And do you think this is a breakthrough race for Lewis Hamilton, in the way that after his issue with Kevin Magnussen on the opening lap, and he had to pit, of course, he was then on the radio saying, guys, let's call it a day, let's save the engine. His race engineer, Pete Bonington, encouraged him to keep going, and then boom, look what he did. He was as high as 4th until they had to back off at the end.
Lewis, sorry for the temperatures at the end. That was an amazing race. Amazing race. You were the quickest car out there. Probably best race time. Would have gone for the win. So amazing.
Great work, guys. Really happy with that result. This is really positive for us all, guys. Thank you so much for continuing to push. These improvements really work this weekend. Let's keep pushing, guys.
Do you think he personally has made a breakthrough with this car, this set of regulations? Do you think we're sort of seeing the fire and the Lewis of old now? Or has it been there all year?
It's very hard to say. I'm sure the fire is there and he wants to do well. But it was beautiful to see that he actually put his head down when he was told to continue. And the lap time's been really sensational. Without the off, he could have battled for victories in terms of the net race performance. And I find it very interesting that Schoff didn't enter this conversation. But man, they were not really tire managing. He was just sending it. And his teammate was actually looking after the tires. So there's a big lesson for tire management in here as well, and Mercedes will dig very deep into this.
Finding peace amongst the chaos of life can be a challenge for many of us. One simple way to find a little pocket of peace is through meditation. If you've heard a lot about meditation but haven't tried it yet, Calm helps you feel at ease from the moment you start. All you need to do is find yourself a quiet spot, somewhere comfortable, and the rest will come naturally. Here at F1 Nation, we're partnering with Calm, the #1 mental wellness app to help give you the tools to improve the way you feel. Calm's guided meditations can help you reduce stress and anxiety, tackle insomnia, and quieten racing thoughts. In as little as 10 minutes a day, you can develop a meditation practice that fits your schedule and gives you the space to relax both your mind and your body. And trust me, once you've started, you'll never look back. There's new content added every week, and there are even imaginative sleep stories for both adults and kids for you to enjoy. More than 100 million people around the world use Calm to take care of their minds. For listeners of the show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/nation. Go to Calm, CALM.com/nation for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. That's calm.com/nation. Look, we're talking tyre management, and the dad of Carlos Sainz is with us now, and I think it's apt because you actually gave out the Pirelli pole position lap yesterday, so you're the man to talk to about tyre management. Is that right, Carlos?
Hello, how are you?
How big a weekend has this been for Carlos? I've seen the reception he's had everywhere. 121,000 people here at the track. Many of them, most of them, all of them supporting him. Just how's he dealt with all of that?
Well, obviously it has not been the weekend that he was dreaming and what he wanted. But at the moment he's going through a period that, I think he needs to really rethink and try to go step by step, because obviously when you are not comfortable with the car, mistakes and pressure and things like that, the build-up of the season hasn't been very smooth, and I think he has to, try to set back and start to build up the confidence again.
What can you, with all of your vast experience in motorsport, do to help him? Or do you just leave him to it?
Well, I think, obviously we in life, in motorsport, you go through difficult periods and through good periods. I think you don't need to exaggerate when you are up, when you don't need to exaggerate when you are down. You just need to work hard, stay calm, it's easy, and try to stay focused and try to think, probably a little bit shorter time and just look in the next one and go step by step and don't obviously lose the confidence. I know he's very capable, and it's a matter of time that he will understand and he will adapt the car to his style.
Carlos, my friend, most important question. Will you be in the summer in Mallorca?
Of course.
So we will meet you for cycling again.
Of course.
Carlos is proper fit on the bike. We always, with Pedro de la Rosa, his son,
no way.
We have good pushes.
These guys, they are really fit. I just go behind.
Carlos, you're one of those really annoying guys. He's good on a bike. Have you played him at squash, Alex?
No, but I heard.
You've heard? Is there anything you can't do?
No. I do everything bad, but I try to do everything and enjoy myself, because life is, you never know, so I try to enjoy as much as possible, and even still driving, so what can you say?
Well, thank you very much, and please send the regards to Carlos. I always mention you can never underestimate your son, because he's a real fighter. I've seen it in racing, and he will come back, and we look forward to that.
Thank you so much.
Mentally so strong. Carlos, thanks so much. Let's just look elsewhere down the grid. I mean, we're standing outside the McLaren motorhome. Of course, we're back in Europe, so it's all motorhomes this weekend. What did you make of their upgrades this weekend, the performance of the car? Do you think they've taken a step forward? I mean, yes, Lando Norris squeezed into the points, but Daniel Ricciardo didn't have such a great race, slipping back.
Well, they have some of the up and downs. I think they started the season on a slight disappointing side from what they finished it previously. Then had this enormous comeback, were super fast. So I think they don't fully understand the car as of yet. I think they're getting hints, and I think most of it is actually down to tire management and having the tires coming in at the right time and working it out. When the front gets ready and the rear is ready, I think there's a few lessons for McLaren still to pick up and learn. And then, of course, improve.
What about Alfa Romeo? Valtteri Bottas was running as high as third. I mean, it's well known on this pod that I am president and CEO of the Valtteri Bottas fan club. I think he's such a great guy. Hey, first up, Can he beat you on the bike? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Wirtz, I have first-hand experience of this, is very, very strong on a bike. But so's Valtteri Bottas. You both live in Monaco. Who's better?
Now he's obviously better. I mean,
he's
now together.
teeth.
No. I'm fine. I'm now a bit too old. I run my business, so I don't have so much time anymore. But Valtteri is top guy, super fit now on the bike. But moreover, he was super strong today in the Grand Prix. Of course, it didn't look as exciting when you saw him on television or when you maybe listened to a podcast or radio, because he was an alternative strategy. So he was then being chased by people with new tires when he was on 23, 24 lap old rubber. And therefore he had to do a passive race, but it showed him up very high. He collected very good points. We shouldn't forget that he had the engine blow up and lost a lot of practice time. So it's a good package. He feels really comfortable in the team. Fred Vasseur loves him, maybe equally as much as you do, if that's possible. But hey, it's good. Valtteri is a good guy, very calm, typical Finnish. And I tell you, when he's on, he's on.
Just very quickly, Marc Genet.
Le Mans winner, one of the greatest friends I have.
Together?
Yes,
same
together,
car.
yes.
Oh, man, How did that work? I'm just looking at you two. He, Alex, is so much taller than you. How did it work in terms of seats?
Very simple. He sits on his big wallet and then has my size.
And that race he was team principal and driver and everything, you know. So without him, I would not have won. It was amazing. It was one of the best days of my life for sure, yes.
Marc Genet, very quickly, obviously a disappointing end for Charles Leclerc, but do you, Ferrari, feel that you've taken a step forward this weekend with the upgrades you've bought?
Yes, yeah, it's really hard to take. I mean, because, you know, he was dominating the weekend so much, and we didn't expect that because his tire management was amazing. We did like 20 laps on the soft tire. We could only do like 10 on Friday, you know. So I'm very happy the team managed to find a good window for the setup and everything. So those are the positives. Because after Miami, we were a little bit worried about tire management. After Friday here, we were very worried. And now we are very confident that the car is good. The new package is working very well. But yes, so there's a lot of positives for the championship. But today, you know, when you can win, because Max has 2 DNFs, but both times he couldn't win the race, you know. And you know, have a DNF when you can win the race, well, that's really tough to swallow, yes.
So Marc, tell us, we don't have any listeners, so you can really be open and honest with us. What setup change did you find after Friday? Because it didn't look as good, and then Saturday in the morning you did a semi-long run, and it blew me away because you certainly found amazing rear end stability in the long run.
Yeah, it was more, from what I know, it's more like ride height. We were not working, we were not optimizing the new aero package, you know, so it's more of aerodynamic. We managed to be really on the window, and then also we went a little bit more towards having front grip. On Friday we ran out of front tires, so we knew we had to have more, we couldn't have understeer at the beginning of the stint, which probably could explain why Carlos, you know, is struggling a little bit more, because if you look on the onboards, it's always a little bit of oversteer. But yeah, it was just finding the right window for the aerodynamic, and then finding a better balance to protect more the front tires.
Frustrating end today, Marc. My money's on you lot for Monaco, right? Charles is really quick there. The car clearly has taken a step forward.
No, I mean, looking ahead of Monaco, yes, we were fast in the last sector. Not mega, but we were faster for sure than Mercedes, and we were a little bit faster than Red Bull. And I think then their Charles should make the difference. So yeah, won't be easy, but I think he's for sure one of the favorites, if not the favorite, yes.
Great. Thank you, Marc.
Thanks.
I still can't get over how you two work the same car at Le Mans to win that race back in 2009.
Actually, quite easy, because when you have a taller driver, he takes the big carbon shell and he has a seat insert. Significantly more I raced with Anthony Davidson, and it was not an issue. It's very difficult if you're a similar size, but just slightly different proportion.
Let's talk about Alpine now. They were very impressive. Ocon coming home P7. Fernando Alonso took a power unit change just before the race, so started at the very back, came home in 9th place. That is a good racing car, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a good
Your
racing
old team
driver.
Too. Your old team.
Yeah, exactly. Still a few faces there. Maybe not as fresh as they used to be, but neither is mine, so never mind. But Fernando did a really good race, ending up where he ended up. I feel really sorry for him and his team, because man, was he strong in free practice. He put it on P5, I think. Even with a heavier car, I put another 10 kilos on, he would have been still P5. So genuine speed in this Alpine, and they have a good buzz and a good feel in the team. So I think he could be one of those guys in Monaco to surprise.
The thing is with Fernando, right? He's had this pace, particularly one lap pace, all season, and I'd take us back to Australia, where of course he was looking good for maybe even a front row start until he had that hydraulic issue, ended up in the barrier. Qualifying here, he tried to jump a bunch of traffic. It didn't work out because Lando Norris muscled him out the way, and that completely ruined his lap, ruined his qualifying session. A man of his experience?
Well, things happen. You know, it's a very dynamic world out there on the fast track, and not everything is under your control, even for such a experienced guy like he is.
Okay, well look, Vertzi, just before you go, with Sky F1's Paul de Resta, who does the driving? You two are driving back to Monaco now. Who's got the car keys?
Yes. I've got the car keys, my rental car, the insurance is on me, so there's no question I am driving, but he will chat to me.
Keep you awake?
No, I will not be tired, otherwise I would stop and sleep, because it's much safer. Also, you should do that at home, because safety is of course priority, but it's always good to chat with Paul. He's my neighbor, we are running almost every morning, we see us on the school trips, and good time.
Vertzi, we can't go without just talking about Monaco 1998, right? Monaco Grand Prix next weekend. What should have been a second place finish for you in Monaco, and then that pesky Michael Schumacher got in the way, didn't he? Massive shunt, not the biggest shunt of your career, because that was in testing at Paul Ricard, but yeah, one that got away.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot this happened. It was still black and white TV, leatherhead racing,
Yeah,
kind of this. It was a good race. I was on the way to B2, we had good tires, good management, and Michael was basically out of the pit stop window for me, so he was B4, B5. So he then took advantage of me being stuck behind lapped cars, and I thought this, and I should have just let go, and I thought this moment, no, I can't let that happen, you know, you have to put your elbows out. So I re-overtook him. That made him so cranky, and he admitted it after, that he then dived deep into another corner, damaged my rear suspension, and then a little bit later it collapsed in the tunnel and I came out with no wheels.
No wheels. Spectacular shunt that was. And of course there is no room at all in Monaco, is there? Anything, the smallest thing goes wrong and it ends up in the barrier. Well, look, it's going to be a great Grand Prix in Monaco. Please join us next Tuesday, just next Tuesday, for our review of that one. But for now, Alex, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great to get your insight.
Thanks for having me, and speak in Monaco.
And folks, thank you for listening wherever you are. F1 Nation is produced by Formula One and Audio Boom Studios. See you next time.